Good evening, Jar of Hope and Team Jamesy, and welcome to the Hope Show. Today we have a special guest who is going to be logging on momentarily, who has been patient behind the scenes. And this gives me a good time to, let me tell you, it's been about an hour now that I have been trying to find a way to introduce this person who is very special to me, to my family for many, many, many years now, and who is special to the foundation as well, Jar of Hope and Team Jamesy. Her name is Barbara Pandolfi Diamora. She is from Staten Island, New York, and she's going to be coming on in a few minutes. But I want to take this time to speak a little bit about Barbara because she's going to be blushing. She's probably behind the scenes right now, a little nervous about coming on the show. She has never done anything like this before, so I am flattered and honored to have her on the show. And you're going to find out that she is one of the founding members of the Grace Foundation, which is a foundation that is fighting to find something to help all the children who are suffering from autism and potentially on the spectrum. And Barbara will explain a little bit more about that. But she means so much to me because before I got into fighting Duchenne muscular dystrophy, I was just a fan of everything Barbara has done for her son Nicholas, and to be able to fight for him. So I was, a fly on the wall, if you will, watching her fight autism for many, many years. And I was honored to be asked to help and some of her fundraising efforts, to be a part of some of her fundraising efforts. And so I know what it's like as a person on the outside trying to help those who are in need, and now being on the inside, right? Oh, geez, it's definitely a different lens to be, watching life unfold when you have a child with special needs. So needless to say, Barbara and her family mean the world to Karen and my family. And it is an absolute honor to bring Barbara on today and allow her to share her story with her son, Nicholas, which anybody out there right now who has a child who is autistic or on the spectrum, you're going to want to listen to what Barbara has to say and the fight against autism. So I'm going to bring Barbara in now. She's been waiting all this time. She looks lovely. She did her hair for us today, and it's an absolute delight. Miss Barbara, how are you today?
I'll kill you. I swear. I'm fine, thank you.
You look wonderful. I love it. Thank you so much, sincerely. Listen, you and I, as I was just telling everybody in the community who is watching, have been family friends for forever. I remember, as a little kid, you coming to the ball field when I was playing ball with your brother Robert, with Marie, your sister, being a part of that whole dynamic as a young boy. It was just awesome to get to know your family. And then here you are, you become young adults, you get married and you have a child. And, I'll hand it over to you and you can explain the dynamic. You have 3 children,
Yes,
right?
I do.
And so
I
without
think
further ado,
I deserve a medal. I
you
deserve
deserve,
a medal for being quarantined with 2 teenagers.
you deserve many, many, many medals, my friend. So, but it is a true honor to be your friend. So everybody, Barbara Diamora, Barbara, welcome to the show.
Thank you, James. I don't know why I look so like I have a spotlight on me or something, but I'm not this pale.
It's
But anyway,
metaphoric.
I don't know. I'm looking mighty pale. Anyway, yes, I am Barbara Diamora. I am the mom of Nicholas Diamora, who is 22 and is on the autism spectrum. He is non-speaking, but certainly not non-thinking, and certainly not non-intelligent, as we've learned. He was diagnosed at about 15 months. I knew something was different. I am a special education teacher, so I had that mommy gut feeling back then. And I also, they tell you never to compare your child to anyone else, but we all know we do that. So I knew things were not, you know, with milestones, he was not achieving them like some of the other kids.
So
Um,
if I can interrupt you there because now I've become very familiar with milestones, that terminology. So you said Nicholas was diagnosed around 15 months old, right? What were you experiencing? Because in my community, it's entirely different. So share with everybody for those moms who potentially now have children around that age and might be curious about this. What were you experiencing?
When I first found out he was autistic, you mean?
Right. What were you noticing in Nicholas that might have been a little off?
Oh, okay. Uh, he never developed speech. He had a very mild, very short time of babble. It kind of didn't never progress. I often tell people a marching band could have went through the house, and he was not aware. He was very, self-directed, played with his toys. I don't even want to say played appropriately with them, but he would fixate on them, and didn't answer to his name. We thought he was deaf for a while.
Hmm.
We banged a couple of pots behind his back to find out he wasn't. Um, so I kind of knew things were amiss, and I'm a special education teacher, so I was in the field. Although I never taught autistic children, I kind of knew something was wrong. Do you hear that? Do you hear those little indications?
I hear dogs in the background.
Dogs.
Uh,
I don't have any dogs
yeah.
here right now.
Oh, I hear some dogs coming from somewhere. But you know what it might be that we've got people who are saying hello on Facebook. I don't know if you see that,
Oh,
if you're watching as well. Those bleeps may be everybody chiming in saying hello. So it's nice to
oh,
see that
okay.
we've got some listeners.
Okay, I didn't know. I didn't see that.
No, no
I
worries.
didn't know that. Okay.
So
I
so
thought it
let's
was me.
no, no worries. So let's paint a picture here, right? How old is Nicholas now?
22.
He's 22. So we're talking just about 21 years ago, 20 and a half years ago. What did the autistic community or, what did that look like? Were you familiar with the words autism, autistic, being a special ed teacher?
Well, believe it or not, I mean, I certainly knew the word. And when he first got diagnosed, they diagnosed him with PDD-NOS, which is pervasive developmental disorder, not otherwise specified,
Ooh.
because he had some, it's like a Chinese food menu. So he had some of the symptoms, but not all of them. And believe it or not, I never wanted to say the word autism in the beginning. I used to say, oh, he has PDD. And people would
Hmm.
be like, what is that? Now I know it's autism.
Right, right.
So there's a denial period. You want to know how I felt after you feel like you've gotten punched in the stomach and you literally mourn what you thought was going to be. That's a quite a process. That
Oh,
took
but
some
you
time.
just gave me the chills. It's heart wrenching to go back and relive this with you because these are our babies, right? And
Right.
from the moment they're born, from the moment the doctor took him from you and he laid you up, probably nestled you up in your chin, right? You fall in love with this little being, and then automatically you have this predisposed ideas that's going to be for him, right? And now you're introduced to this world that's completely turning everything upside down.
Something was yes, awful, 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 awful. I just have to tell everyone it's a process and you need to go through it. It's like the 7 stages of grief, or I don't know, was there 7 or 5? I don't even
Seven,
know.
no, seven.
Seven.
You're right.
Seven. It's the 7 stages of grief, and it's a process, and you do need to go through it. And denial is one of them, and that's what I did. And but then I had to pick myself up, dust myself off, and get in this game, because if I was going to help my son and give him the quality of life I know he deserved, I couldn't be in that dark place. Because believe me, you could not get out of bed if you choose not to. That's how heart wrenching it is, because autism is lifelong, not leaving us. It's not going to go away.
Hmm.
He's made tremendous progress. Don't get me wrong, and he's living a wonderful quality of life, still having autism. But it's been a lot of hard work.
So from the moment he was diagnosed at 15 months of age, when did you and a group of moms, correct me if I'm wrong, right?
Yes.
When did you guys come around this table and then the idea pop into your head? How did that happen?
Yes, full disclosure, I am not the sole founder of the Grace Foundation. You advertised me as the founder, but I am one
Oh,
of the founders. I didn't want
okay.
to leave my co-founders out. Um, we were a group of parents, moms and dads, in the beginning, and we decided that we needed more choices, more things for our children. So we decided to start a foundation. We chipped in $200 each.
Hmm.
We made some nice flyers. We got some stamps, and we mailed stuff out. And let me tell you, never in a million years could anyone have prepared me for what we've become. I
What was
never,
going to unfold, right?
unbelievable. The people that we've helped, the services we provide, the advocacy that we do, the, you know, everything has just been amazing. We've had mayors at our picnic. All of our politicians have been involved. Prominent figures in the community. It's just been a blessing.
Right. So let's not jump ahead though, right? Because I want to get there eventually. But so you have a group of moms and dads there. I don't know if they're at your kitchen table, coming up with this whole concept that we have to help our children, because that's the whole driving force behind it, right? Is how do we answer the riddle? And I don't want to assume, but that's why the puzzle piece is part of the autism, right? Is because this is a riddle, and how do we answer this riddle to help our children, right? So was there much help at the time offered to people in your community?
Well, 20 years ago, there wasn't much, and the
Mhm.
numbers were much lower. Now it's 1 in 54. I mean, it's kind of crazy. And uh, metrics predict by the year 2025, it's going to be even lower. I think, or was it the year 2050, 1 in 2 children will have some sort of uh, place on the spectrum. It's
So let's
crazy.
let's those who are listening fully understand what you just said. So for every one child born, 1 in 54 children born, one child will be diagnosed with autism.
Correct.
That is amazing. And to think about how many children are born per day. So
Right.
there's children per day being born who are going to be diagnosed with autism. So this and this is why the Hope Show was created, to share stories such as yours. And for those who are watching, I'm on with Barbara Diamora. She is one of the founding members of the Grace Foundation, located in Staten Island, New York. And it's an honor to have Barbara on the show and share what her and her family and the community are going through and what strides they have gone through to help those who are newly diagnosed, and perhaps those who have a child diagnosed with autism that potentially may still be lost, no matter the age of your child, because you don't figure this out overnight. Barbara and her group of friends, turned it on almost immediately. So, and I really, really commend you for that, because it does take a lot of energy to do what you guys did. So you really deserve some awards.
It takes a village. That's that saying, and it's really true here, because we needed the Grace Foundation, we needed supports, we needed, help, and I've had help for Nicholas for a very long time. And without the help that I've had, I probably might not still be married, honestly, because it's such a strain on a marriage. There's a lot of single moms out there with autistic kids, a lot of dads who flew the coop, and then there's some dads who are just heroes in my eyes, like yourself, James. And it's hard. So, and I also have 2 other children, and I really um, try to stay focused that I needed to be there for them as well. That's not always easy to do. I have 2 teenagers right now. I'm not going to lie. There are times that they've said, "Oh, it's all about Nicholas," or how much more things is everything has to be considered through Nicholas, and that the answer is yeah. Some of our family vacations and things that we've done and places we've gone to, Nicholas has to be a factor in those decisions, and that's not always easy for siblings to understand.
Right, especially young kids,
Right.
right, trying to just navigate life on their own. The sibling dynamic is tough to begin with, and then you add somebody with special needs. It really compounds the complexity of growing up, right? For them doing their own homework to potentially helping their brother in between things, right? It's not easy on them, and sometimes a lot of the siblings get lost, not from the family, but even from outsiders who want to help, like Nicholas. They have a tendency to forget that Nicholas has brothers and sisters, right? So I know how hard that can be, and I give you a lot of credit. 22 years later, here you are, and you have a beautiful family, and it's just amazing how you guys have stuck together and gotten through this together. It really is. Though there are some peaks and valleys, right? So I give you a lot of credit. So let's talk about more about Nicholas. And so he progresses over the years. And when was it? At 15 months he gets diagnosed. When did you guys really start to get into understanding the path that he needs to go down?
Well, right from the diagnosis, I knew I had a game plan and a blueprint. He needed early intervention. He needed extensive services, speech, 5 times a week, an hour a day. He needed occupational therapy 3 times a week for an hour. And then he had a 20-hour ABA program. Nothing against any of the therapies, but I realize now probably the most important therapy he had was occupational therapy. He probably needed that more than anything because motor matters, okay? And motor is a very understated and misunderstood component of autism. And people need to understand that autism isn't an intellectual disability. It's usually a mind-body disconnect and a motor problem. So if we can improve the motor, we can improve a lot of other things in the brain, because the brain and the cognition and the motor planning. What happened, James?
No. A light went off or something, but I still hear you and see you fine. Did you disappear?
You see me?
Yeah. Or maybe you hit something on you. Here you go.
I didn't touch anything.
Oh, your computer might have gone to sleep, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wake up. So,
this is great information you're sharing. I have Sharon here who's saying that she can relate to everything that you're sharing with us right now. And that comment right there proves to show me how important this show is, because I want to get information out there to people who might be in need and can't really have an outlet to get this information. So thank you again, Barb, for being here and sharing this with us.
I just want to show you guys something. And this is a graphic that I've made. I used in presentations. Can you see it?
I can. Cognitive motor balance. I love that. It's got weights in it.
Yeah, you see the seesaw?
Yes.
Okay, so we need the brain, the cognition, and we also need the balance of the motor. See that seesaw? We want it balanced. We need it balanced. Very often it's one way or the other with our kids, and that's when they're dysregulated. So motor matters. So Nicholas is in a pretty intensive motor program. And what I mean by motor is he's not just lifting weights, he's engaging his motor most of the day. And that has changed his life because he's able to do that much more. The brain remembers what it does the most. And when you use your motor, you're creating myelinated pathways in your brain. And the more myelinated these pathways become, the more automatic and easier it is for our kids to do things. Otherwise, they're so dysregulated, their body wants to do it, but their mind and their body don't talk to each other properly.
Right.
And people don't understand that in autism, at least for a large part of autistic kids, because there's also autistic kids who don't have the motor challenges that my son does. But my son has apraxia of speech. He's non-speaking. So many of the children on the spectrum that are non-speaking suffer from the same thing like Nicholas, and it's a motor problem. It's not an intellectual disability. People think when you don't talk, you're not intelligent, or when you don't talk, you have nothing to say. They have so much to say. They have opinions, they have wants and wishes and desires, and it's just important that we tap into that, which I'm sure is going to lead you to ask me about.
It will, and I have to say, when you were introduced and you started speaking, you had a little smile on your face, and I love that, because it used to be heartbreaking, before my situation, to watch. You have a child, and I can see it in your face, in Billy's face. You want to connect with your son, right? But there's this issue that you can't, right? And then there came a time where you did. And I'm almost tearing up just thinking about it, because I remember the day you told me, that you got your son back. And to me, that was just, as a friend, I couldn't have loved that moment more, because just to see how happy you guys were. So that was beautiful. And why don't you share with how you feel you got your son back, because I think everybody needs to hear this, especially those who are out there who have a child who is autistic and feel that they all may be lost, and and you're not. So Barbara and the Grace Foundation is here. I'm sure, I don't want to speak out of line, but if you guys are lost and you need help, please reach out to the Grace Foundation, because they will help guide you along this process. So go ahead, Barb. How do you feel that you got Nicholas back?
I feel like I met my son when he was 12 years old in Texas. I took him to the Halo Clinic to see Soma, who invented, I guess is the word, the rapid prompting method, RPM. And I took him there, and I was there for a week, and he saw her twice a day. And it was just amazing what he was able to communicate on a letterboard. And it's so much more. It's so much more than just sticking a letterboard in front of an autistic child. There's a whole process involved. So I was just blown away. My family was blown away. And I was so fascinated and interested. I went back for the parent training the following June. I've been to Texas like 4 times since then, conferences and stuff like that. And I'm just, you know, very lucky to have found this method. And my son has an entirely different path now than
And
he would have had.
and I can say, from an outsider again looking in, I see a tremendous difference in Nicholas's disposition. Right, there were certain ways about him that are almost gone because he's got a way to verbalize and communicate with you guys. Right.
Yes, he feels very respected. He feels he has dignity now. He feels like he's part of the world, as he puts it, part of
Hmm.
society is what he has spelled. And the letterboard doesn't leave us. It comes to dinner with us. We include him in our family conversations, and it's just changed everything. I mean, he still has autism, and
Hmm.
he takes medication. Full disclosure, I don't want to ever see him not on that medication, because it is helping him. There are medications to treat the symptoms of autism, and he's got a good regimen, and he's leading a productive life. He has a job where he cooks. Um, you know, he has chores that he could do that are just, you know, he feels loves helping his dad outside and around the house, and to do things with his dad is just, he wrote to us, I feel so
Oh,
useful and so helpful. So
I love that,
it's
and
really, yeah,
I love that for Billy. I
yeah.
love that for you guys, and that's just that's what the meaning of life is about, right? Is to be able to be with your children and do these things. And I'm so glad that you guys found that avenue to communicate, and have him communicate back. So um, to find out more about what we're talking about here with Barbara Diamora from the Grace Foundation, please reach out to Grace. Do you have a website, Barbara, a phone number? Why don't you share that with everybody right now?
Yeah, if you're a Staten Island resident, certainly reach out to us. We don't service other states, unfortunately, but we do have coming up a Facebook, not a Facebook, I'm sorry, a Zoom live that I will be the guest speaker at, and I'll be taking questions and all kinds of stuff like that. You could check our Facebook page for that at the Grace Foundation of New York. Our website is www.graceofny, that's GRACEOFNY.org. And our phone number is 718-983-3800. So
Wonderful.
anybody can come on to that. You have to register for the Zoom, but anybody can do that, even if you live in New Jersey. I'm happy to, talk to any families that have questions, especially given what's going on now with the COVID quarantine. It's been increasingly difficult for families to have their kids at home
Right.
with nothing
So
to do.
that's great. I'm so glad that you guys have an organization that people can go to, because I know what it's like to feel helpless and hopeless. And I know that you don't want anybody else to feel that way as well. So let's talk a little bit about the Grace Foundation as a whole, right? You guys offer programs to families or children
Yes,
alike.
we do both. Both. We have programs for the kids. We have full day hab. We have lots of extracurricular programs Gottesman is just a godsend to us. She has an incredible vision, and she creates these wonderful programs that these kids can go to. There are so many, too many to name, but you should check us out because there's something for every age and ability.
Excellent. And what is something like this? What, as an organization, and I know, running an organization, it's not easy. You got to raise money all the time to keep these programs going, right? So how does the Grace Foundation, how do you guys do this? And are there any project you guys got coming up?
Oh yeah, well, we have an incredible PR person and fundraising person, Kathy Del Fiore. She
Hmm.
has um, been so creative and a visionary with different things. We have a puzzle piece campaign. We're making actually the world's largest puzzle piece is something we're trying to do with all the organizations here on Staten Island. We've all
I
gotten together.
love that.
Yeah,
Is it going to
and
be a
we're all
world
going to
record? I'm a fan
we
of
hope
world records.
we,
Oh,
we don't know. We don't
all
know,
right.
but we're all going to, every agency is going to wear their own color and we're going to assemble, I believe, on the grounds of Monsignor Farrell High School. And we're
Wow.
going to make a giant puzzle piece. We also have virtual bingo. We just did one last night. That was so much fun. Zoom bingo. We raised some money doing that. We have our gala every year. We have a walk. We have all different things around the different holidays. And we also have a brick campaign. We have a sensory playground that was just installed on our grounds. And all around it is going to be bricks that you can honor or memorialize someone or just give a shout out. You don't have to have, here we go again. There we go. You don't have to have a child with autism in order to make a donation or buy a brick. Our
Okay,
brick
so
campaign is on your
before
TV.
we discuss a little bit more about the brick campaign, because I know we have a special guest coming on with us, which is going to be pretty exciting. Let's talk about this puzzle piece that's going to happen at Farrell, right? So now, one, do you have to have a child who is autistic to participate? Because
Not
we're
at
going to
all.
be there. I got to be there, right? Two,
Yep.
if you
Yep.
really want to make this a world record event, I will give you all my insight because Jar of Hope loves to break world records. I would
I know.
love to see the Grace Foundation break a world record, and I'd love to help you guys do that. So if there's
Well, I would
anything,
love that too.
all right. So let's put our heads together. We're going to meet after the show, and I promise I'll make the appointment, and we will get together, and we will make. When is that date? So everybody knows.
Well, it's been postponed, so I don't have a new
Oh,
date yet, but
all
I'll
right,
let
all
you
right.
know.
But you know what? That might give us some more time to make this even bigger and better. And I love that. Now, is in the mix of everything, because it is a fundraiser, right? Is
Yes.
there a
You
cost
buy
to
a
attend?
t-shirt.
You buy a
No, you
T-shirt.
buy a t-shirt, and when you buy the t-shirt, you can go through any agency you may be affiliated with, but we'd love you to come through Grace and wear our color and assemble, and we make a big puzzle piece.
Excellent. And regardless of the affiliation or the agency you go through, all the funds then would be donated to the Grace Foundation to help build or continue
Well,
on these programs.
we've partnered with other agencies, so they will benefit from the funds also.
I
But
love that.
it's all going to autism, for all their programs.
I love the
We're all
fact that
we're all fighting the same battle.
I love that. I love that you guys can bring different charities together for one common mission. And that speaks volumes of you and your community. I love that. So with no further ado, right, we have another special guest. I'll let you introduce Kathy, as you mentioned her briefly before. Go ahead, give her an introduction here.
This is our phenom, Kathy Del Fiore. She runs our fundraising, and she is, hi, Kath. She
Hi.
is just incredible and innovative, and she did public relations for Madison Square Garden for many years. So we are so lucky to have her and all her ideas and contacts.
That's
Thank you.
fantastic. Kathy, thank you for giving the time to spend with us here this afternoon, for coming on the show. And Barbara was talking to us about a brick campaign. So I guess you're the one who's spearheading this.
Yes, we put this together for Giving Tuesday, because what better way to push something out? And it's a great thing because, like I said, it's a brick ranges from $100 to $1,000, and $100 sentiment, and to have something there permanently, and then you could get like a little commemorative brick to bring home. So it's a great thing to celebrate in memory of, just to say thank you, and it's a great thing.
So let's look at this from a bird's eye view. So you're doing this brick campaign around a facility, I'm assuming,
Yes.
right? Is it an existing building or the building's being built?
No, it's at the Grace. It's at the Grace building. We have a sensory playground. It's very colorful because we're all about, different colors. So around the perimeters of the sensory playground, we'll have the brick pathway.
I love that. So, and at that point, the people who then donate to purchase a brick, they'll have either their name, business name, whoever wants to sponsor a brick embedded into that. That is beautiful. I love that idea. And talk to me. What is it to sponsor a brick?
You could sponsor a brick. You could buy a small brick for 100. You could buy a brick with clip art for 250. You could buy one for 500. And then there's a sponsor brick, like with a logo, a specialty sponsor brick for $1,000. So you get to put your logo on that one brick.
Let me ask you this: have you sold any yet?
No, not yet. Not the big brick.
We just started.
Wonderful. So, Jar of Hope, I love to be the first in anything. So right here on the Jar of Hope show, I want to instill hope in everybody out there watching. So I'm going to say this. For Jar of Hope, we want to be your first sponsor. I pledge $1,000 to be the first brick. And I'm going to do something even better, even though my wife is not here. The Raffone family is going to sponsor another brick. So right here, right now on this show, you just raised $2,000.
That's amazing.
I know it's going to a great, great cause. And as always, Barb, I know because I'm fighting my mission, I unfortunately am not there every day for you guys. And it does break my heart, but I hope in some ways, so that this can help you guys move your mission forward, because no child should live a world of silence or in need, and they all need an opportunity, and I want to be able to help you guys. So Jar of Hope is here for you guys as well. So Kathy, send whatever information you need to jarofhope.org, jim@jarofhope.org. That is my email address. That's 2 bricks at $1,000 a piece. Jar of Hope and the Raffone family is supporting you guys. And I would like to, so now what you need to do, Kathy, you need to share, how does everybody else, all these other viewers, because I hope what I want this to do is everybody else feel that they need to get involved as well. How many square feet? Do you have any idea yet how many square feet or how many bricks you're looking to sell?
We're looking to sell as many as it fits on the property that we're on. So it's unlimited. We have a lot of property.
Okay, so let's try and sell 5,000 bricks, right? So let's see if we can make that a goal. Jar of Hope is pushing an initiative to help the Grace Foundation sell 5,000 bricks. And let's hope they're all at $1,000. But let's also understand any dollar helps when we're trying to help children. So any amount, buy the smallest brick or just make a simple donation. But I hope today unleashes, they say the ripple effect. You drop a pebble in a little puddle and you see it ripple out. So I hope this starts today, your campaign off on a successful note. You are very welcome. It's my pleasure. So tell people, Barb, you don't have to thank me. So tell everybody how they can donate and get involved in your brick campaign.
That's easy. They could go right on the website, www.graceofny.org. They could go on Facebook. It's always shared on social media, or they could actually call me or email me at cdelpriori@graceofny.org. So we're there.
I love it. And they can find you
on the
website. Okay.
Yes.
So just one more time, because I know people, it's 3 times before it sinks in. One more time. What's the website address?
It's www.graceofny.org.
I love it. graceofny.org.
I have a question, James. Is my name in the green box under my thing? I did that. I misspelled my own name.
You did. I didn't want to point that out, but you did.
I thought you did it. I was going to say, who name is that?
No, you did.
Well, in my angst to get on at 3:00, at exactly 3:00.
I gave you time. I gave you exactly like 3.5 or 4 minutes, but no, it's all good. It's great. I love it. So what I want to do here is I'm going to, so it's graceofny.org.
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to put this up on the ticker so people can see your website. And please go to graceofny.org. look for Kathy's email address, email her, get involved in this brick campaign. And ultimately, so where are the funds going? What do you, this is a capital raise program. What are you guys ultimately looking to do with the funds?
We're looking, I mean, down the road, we're looking to expand. So we're putting that towards future projects, programs, and everything else. But it's actually to build on the sensory playground. We have so much more to build upon, and so much more to build upon on programs and services here with Dayhab and the respite programs. So it's just to expand all our programs.
I love that. And you mentioned respite, and speak a little bit about that, because again, there are people out there who potentially don't know any avenues to go down or get any help. So what is your respite program about that potentially other families on Staten Island and the New York area can come to the Grace Foundation and seek help?
It's a Barbara, you want to answer? Or you want me to answer? So it basically, I mean, it ranges from everything from performing arts, and I know that there's like 3 different. There's Glee, there's Junior Glee, there's Pee Wee Glee, and they go out to the community and they sing. And then there's centered on sensory, and there's an empowering class and cooking, and they go out to eat, and they learn socialization that way. So there's so many different after school and weekend programs, and gym and dance to get involved in. I mean, you name it. I think there's, yes, there's every imaginable program you could think of.
That's amazing. And right now, how many children are you servicing?
I think about 300, if I'm not mistaken.
God bless.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
That really is wonderful. And you know, having a child who with special needs, you know, I wish I had a place like the Grace Foundation to go to. And anybody out there who feels that they may be lost or need a place to go, the Grace Foundation. And do you guys want to share your physical location on Staten Island?
Sure. It's 460 Brielle, Brielle Avenue. It's on the grounds of Seaview. So it's there, and we're here, and anything we could do to help.
Absolutely.
James, I have a question. Are people able to ask questions here? Is there anybody that has a question?
That's great. Absolutely. People can ask a question. So I have Christine is asking, what is the date of the Farrell event? But I think you answered that unfortunately it's been postponed.
Probably next April. We tried to do it this April because it's Autism Awareness Month. So we were kicking it off with this world's largest puzzle piece, and then, you know, then everything changed. So we're looking to do it next April, probably the first Sunday in April, if we could speak to Farrell High School. We're just waiting for everything to sort of get back to whatever new normal there is, and plan on breaking the record, which is over 1,700 people. So we do need a lot of people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Count me in and my family.
Okay.
We will be there. I love it when it comes back together, but I would love to definitely talk to you guys about making it a world record event. I know exactly how to walk you guys through the process. It's not that difficult. The hardest part I find is getting the bodies, right?
Yeah.
So that shouldn't be a problem once we start working together. I love it. So what and how you brought up COVID-19, right? So this has been devastating for the Jar of Hope Foundation, to say the least. Hopefully we don't become a statistic like some of these other small businesses. So how are you guys navigating through this terrible time?
Through Zoom. Well, right now we can't do anything, so we everything is through Zoom, and Dayhab has they game through Zoom, and they cook through Zoom. There's drive-bys, and then with the respite programs, I know that she sets up. I think she has like 30 different, Zoom sessions set up. Whether it's they're sitting down eating together, or they're doing arts and crafts, and just doing like whatever social skills they can, and that's how we're moving forward right now.
God bless.
Yeah.
It's very hard with this population, James, because autism needs structure. And these children had a structured young adults, all the whole gamut, the whole spectrum. They're coming from a very structured, day in life, and then all of a sudden it's turned upside down, and they have nothing. So we are trying very hard to keep some structure in their life, even if it's virtually through a Zoom call. One of the things I've really been working hard to do with Nicholas personally is keep him very active during the day, and every day looking somewhat the same. So, he wakes up, we have his breakfast, and then we go right into chore mode. And then from chore mode, we go outside. He usually goes on a hike with his dad, or he's outside doing some TRX with his father. I also ordered a whole bunch of stuff off of Amazon and made these like workout stations for him to keep him, working. because he eats a little bit more than I would like him to.
Hey, he's
So
watching. From what I understand, he's watching.
I know he is, but he's doing great. He is
Right.
watching and he's doing great. But he knows he wants to eat healthier. He
He
cooks with
just
me.
he just typed, "Great job, Mom."
Did
Did you
he?
see the comment? Yes, Nick Diamore. He just
I'm not.
commented.
He's upstairs. He's
He just
upstairs.
That's wonderful. Hey, Nick,
He's
how you
wonderful.
doing, buddy?
So I just want to say that he helps me cook dinner every night. We empty the dishwasher every day. We do loads of laundry. My house has never been cleaner, but my son is pretty active. So I really encourage parents, if they're struggling, is to get their kids on some type of new routine and just do that every day because they love sameness. They love knowing what's coming. Anything that is sprung upon them causes great anxiety to them.
Right, right. So if you had a wish list right now, and if there's politicians on Staten Island watching, and I know there are a few that do watch my show, one, thank you very much for doing so. And two, is there any help that they can provide you right now to get life back to normal for the kids? It's because it's all about the kids. What would you say to them right now? You're not shy on words, Barb. So come on.
I have to be politically correct, so I'm
You,
thinking. But listen, I don't have very kind words for our mayor. I'm sorry, so I'm just going to skip over that part. I would like our governor to move to opening our city so that we can get phase 3, whatever, back. Our restaurants open, our gyms, and all the things that our kids love to do in the community. For our day have to be able to open, and our programs. We have to put some new protocols in place with sanitary and conditions and social distancing and stuff. That's going to be hard on them. They don't quite understand not wanting to give you a hug or see you close up in person. But
right.
I would just like for normalcy somewhat to come back to them
So forgive
and
my
all of them.
ignorance, but as Grace is a private organization to some degree, right? You have this playground. It's nice weather out. Social distancing can be practiced. If need be, Jar of Hope can donate gloves. Jar of Hope can donate face masks for the kids. Is that something that could help get the kids at least outdoors to the park? Or
No,
the mayor saying no, absolutely not.
no, we have to
Yeah, we
abide
haven't
by the
gotten the green light from them.
OPWDD. We can't.
Oh, that is
Yeah.
heartbreaking,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah,
Because
we're waiting for that green light from the state.
okay, well, if there's any politicians out there listening, please help these kids in any way, shape, or form you can. You have the authority to do so, and they do need your help. This is Barbara Diamora, a founding member of the Grace Foundation, and we are with Kathy. Kathy, are you the executive director for fundraising?
No.
No.
I'm the director of development and communications and public relations. It's a long title, so
Excellent,
yeah.
excellent. Well, Kathy Del Piore, is that how you say it?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Del Puri is a guest on the Hope Show this afternoon. I hope you guys are interested, loving the show that we have today. So far, we've discussed a child who's being autistic and navigating the path. Secondly, we have the Grace Foundation that has a capital raise program going on today that they launched on our program today. They're looking to sell 5,000 bricks. So if you guys want to be one of the first top 10, top 100, get on it right now. Go to graceofny.org.
Mhm.
Email Kathy. She's running that capital project for you to get involved. Get involved. These kids need your help. So, any last words this afternoon, Barb, that you'd like to speak about to any parent who either is just learning about the diagnosis or one who is navigating, but unfortunately alone? Is there anything that you'd like to say to them?
Well, I would like to say to those who are just newly diagnosed, it's going to be okay. There is hope. There's lots of services. You just have to constantly be with your finger on the pulse, get knowledge, get trained in things, go to seminars, learn what's out there, and tap every resource you can. Give your child a quality of life that they deserve and know that they're in there, even if they don't speak. I learned that after 12 years that my son was in there and that his brain is phenomenal and he is smart and funny and he has opinions and hopes and dreams. Know that your children have those same things. To parents whose kids are already older, never give up. Never give up. there's always hope, and there's always more to learn and more to do. I learned that. Um, I also want to tell everybody who's just home quarantine and kind of suffering, our population is kind of, I mean, through no fault of anyone, who knew a pandemic was going to strike us the way it did, but they kind of have been forgotten. There's not much they could do sometimes on Zoom. They certainly, if they go to school, sometimes it's harder for them to engage, the way some of the other online learning is going on. So I feel for all of you, but try to get a new routine, try to do structured activities with them, and you'll all be saner for it.
Wonderful. Excellent. Kathy, anything that you'd like to add? Closing
Well,
statement.
we know that this is a tough time for everybody, and fundraising is a really hard thing to ask people for money. So quite understood. So it's not just about giving money at this time. It's, giving you of your time and volunteering. And we look for that too, because it's all about community and collaboration. And we're there for the community. And we hope, that the community, we appreciate everything everybody's done for us. So, if you could volunteer, go volunteer. It's not just about, putting your hands in your pocket and giving money. So anything helps at this point for everybody.
Great point, because there is a lot of lack of help and assistance out there, especially with kids with special needs. So that is huge. So if you feel that potentially you can't help because you don't have the financial resources to do so, don't discount yourself, because your time is definitely worth something. And I definitely know that. So we are here on the Hope Show with Barbara Diamora, Kathy Del Piore, and guys, you two are both my heroes for what you're doing for the community. Continue to do good work. I would love to have you guys back on the show. When do you think that you guys are going to actually start to put these bricks in the ground? Because I would love to have you back on right before you do that.
I would say we'd have to go through the summer, and then even if we have a quantity of that we could start maybe in September with launching, like maybe of Grace again. When everything's sort of back to normal, we could do something like that, a groundbreaking that way.
Great. So the wonderful things about being quarantined is everybody's on their computer. They're ordering from Amazon. Amazon is flying all over the New York tri-state area. So buy one last thing, buy a brick, have it delivered to the Grace Foundation. That's a metaphor, because they will have it themselves. They will build it, and send a logo. If you're a business owner, send your logo to them. They'll inscribe it on the brick. I'm not speaking out of turn here, right? This is all possibilities, because I'd love to have our butterfly on a brick at your facility.
Yep.
So Jar of Hope has donated the first brick, the phone family, the second brick, and I hope this continues to go down a trend. Let's build that brick road for them, the yellow brick road. Let's make it a possibility. Let's make it happen.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. It's a pleasure having you both.
Incredible. Yeah, and you've done some incredible work with Jar of Hope. I hope all of your listeners are familiar with your foundation and your cause for your little boy, Jamesy. He's so lucky to have you to be his dad.
Thank you. That's another day. That's not about today, but I love and respect you for saying that for us. But this is the Hope Show. We love to bring hope to all those out there who are feeling hopeless. Reach out to the Grace Foundation at graceofny.org. I'm Jim Raffone from Jar of Hope. And always, the last words on the show will always be, Jamesy, Daddy loves you, buddy. All right, guys. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here today. And I wish you a lot of success with this brick campaign. All right.
Thank you.
Send me that information, Kathy. I want to make this happen. All right.
I will. Thanks.
All right. You're very welcome.
Bye now.
You're welcome. Enjoy your day, guys.
You too.
Thanks.